You're listening to the Business and Tech Podcast, your go-to source for all the tech needs in your business. Now, here's your host, tech guru, and CEO, Jack Garzella.
Well, today we have a very special episode of the Business and Tech Podcast. We have a celebrity today, business celebrity, knows a little bit about technology, but definitely a business person and definitely a celebrity, and his name is George Ross. For those of you that don't know George Ross, maybe if you're under 40 or so, hard to say, but there used to be a TV show called The Apprentice. And on The Apprentice, different contestants, maybe 8 of them, would compete to be the winner. And then the winner would get selected and be part of Donald Trump's business organization. This is way before he ran for president. Now, George was one of the judges on that show. So Donald had a couple of judges with him. And also George is, or was, since he ran for president, he no longer works with Donald. But up until the time he ran for president, he was his attorney, he was his business coach, and very much so a guiding principle of how to build the Trump brand and how to make things go. So George is a very experienced person. He works with JT Foxx now, which is how I met George. JT is my business coach. He has Millionaire Flex out there with all of his branding and business building content, as well as scaling content. There's just so much out there. It's impossible to get through it all. I've been trying now for 6 months. However, he posts all of his coaching sessions. So when JT was coached by George over the last, 8 to 10 years, give or take, maybe a little longer than that even, I was able to listen to those coaching sessions on Millionaire Flex. It was really great content. And we were able to listen to him also on some live webinars that JT did with him here over the last few months this fall. So really looking forward to this interview with George. Hope you enjoy it, and we'll talk to you in a little bit, but let's get going with the interview. So George, I've started this Business of Tech podcast to bring together the business and the technology guys. And you're obviously a great business person, very successful, and you've done a lot of personal and branding and built businesses. So if you can give the people that don't know you that well, because I actually filmed some high school football, I brought up your name and everybody was like, who is this guy? So if you could give us a little background on you, that would be great.
Well, the background, good. I was never a sports figure. My credentials basically was, yes, I was a judge on The Apprentice, which had 20 million viewers, and it was very successful doing that. A lawyer for more than 50 years, doing major transactions, mostly real estate and involving businesses, set up businesses of my own, which were manufacturing businesses, radio stations, and anything that I thought was successful, could make a lot of money with a minimum amount of my effort, but a lot of my time.
Okay. That's great. And I know that...
also, just to decide, I was the first one in my office. I had a law firm which went from 18 lawyers to 110, doing nothing but real estate. And I brought in the first machines, the technology that would be transform the practice of law. Yeah, the first computers and the first things, and I had a lot of resistance because the machines we were talking about were expensive, and I couldn't convince the old parties that to get rid of the carbon paper.
I've heard you say this on a couple of times that I've listened to you, that when you first saw the computer, you knew it would change the world, change the way business is done, but you weren't exactly sure how. But go ahead.
But understand, I don't know if you know how I first learned a computer. I was a cryptoanalyst for the Pentagon.
Oh, I did not know that. Wow.
And the first things we had were we had the original computers that when you had it filled the whole room, it was noisy and hot at this and very slow. But it was the first in doing it for trying to figure out potential codes and ciphers or messages. You now had the computer had the ability to spit out possibilities.
Wow.
Which you couldn't do. But compared to what we have today, that was a nothing. But it got me interested and said, somebody has now devised a machine that can think better than the human brain.
Wow.
And that would trigger me. And that says, good, if they can do it, there, and this is in the 1940s, the 50s, I said, if they can do it, that's the way of the future.
Wow. So when the 80s came and PCs were available, that's when you said, I'm going to.
PCs were available, and I had radio stations which did things that you could never do. I didn't need people, and I could have somebody record a program and say, good, I'm here. It's now 4:00 in the morning, and we're talking, and because mostly it was 4:00 in the afternoon he was recording, but it sounded like he was recording it right there.
Very cool.
You had the ability to store information forever or whenever you needed it, and to feed it back and let the machine do the work. But the technology was expensive.
Yeah, back then.
That's the hard part, to say, it's not worth it. That's what you think it's not worth it. Yes, it is, and you have to be aware that it's forever changing.
Yeah, my first one
that you're going to end up with cell phones and now computers that can do unbelievable amount of transactions in a short period of time. No, yep. But I was always aware that technology, if the right people create the technology, you can do almost anything. It's just a question of how much it's going to cost to do it, and is it marketable? And what you're talking about now, take the whole thing. Podcasts. When did you ever hear a podcast 2 years ago? It didn't exist.
Right.
Zoom. Right. We're talking on Zoom. Didn't exist.
Right.
Right now, and now it's only broadening out, and it's going to evolve again. In every business, there's always going to be an evolution, and if the people are aware of the technology that's changing and to keep up with it, they will be successful. If they don't, they're going to die.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. If you don't think so, I'll give you one name: Kodak.
There you go.
Whatever happened to Kodak? It owned film, right? Yep. And all of a sudden, film went out. And what did you get? Polaroid, instant picture. What happened to Polaroid? Dead.
Died. Yeah. Yep.
Why? Because now we now have digital. Yep. All right. We now have the cameras. So if somebody was aware of the changes that can take place in any business that they're in, they will be successful. If they don't, they're dead.
Yep. Now, let me ask you this. So I know you've done a lot of worked with Donald Trump a lot before the election. I know after as he got into politics, you kind of parted ways a little bit on that.
Not a little bit. We parted ways completely.
Completely. Very good. Yeah. So my question is, though, this is a new podcast. How would you recommend I get it out to the world, right? You're going to be one of the first 10 episodes, but
but indicate, well, you say you have to indicate what's the topic or the basis that somebody would want to listen. So you have to give them some type of throw out some type of a tagline that they would be interested in. So you say, if you want to learn, if you don't like, for just giving you an example, I'm not saying you should use it, but if you say, if you're not making the money you think you ought to make and living the lifestyle you want to live, listen to my podcast.
Right.
Now, does that tell you what the podcast says? No.
But it gets your interest.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Get your interest. All I want to do is get you interest.
Very good.
So for example, you say, if you listen to my podcast, you will be able to do the impossible.
I like it.
Okay.
Now, I had to do some impossible things in my career.
You didn't say what you're doing or what it is. All you're saying, hey, I get you to listen.
Right.
Now, once I get you to listen, then the next thing is what I'm selling you.
Very good.
Listen, that you should do.
Yeah.
I'm going to sell you technique. I'm going to sell you expertise. And that's basically what you're selling on. You're selling the IT. That's what you're selling.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
And very much in demand.
How to solve problems. How to solve problems. How to see problems before they come up. And that's all your experience that you see. And you've got the background to be able to do that because of everything you've done, and a lot of it failed. So the failure was made you successful because now I learned what failed. I learned what not to do. And I've had some great successes and a couple of failures.
I've never learned what not to do.
No, you're absolutely right. You have successes and failures. They come together.
That's correct. You learn more from failure than you do success.
Anyone says they've never had a failure is probably lying, right?
That's correct. Not probably is. just refuses to recognize it as such.
Well, let's get to know you a little bit. I got some rapid fire questions, 1-2 answers, if you don't mind. Okay. You may have been asked these before. I'm not sure, but I like to ask.
Doesn't make any difference.
All right. What's your favorite movie?
My favorite movie? Casablanca.
Casablanca. I've heard that from a few people.
Okay. I like it because it showed personalities more in a different situation. It was a war movie that wasn't a war movie.
So along the same lines, what's your favorite band or music group?
Well, this is before your time. Nat King Cole was my favorite.
Oh, sure. I've got some of his
Elvis
music.
Presley was also my favorite.
Yeah.
All right. Dolly Parton's another favorite.
Very good.
But I don't have any favorites, but I like someone that appealed to me. Neil Diamond is
another good one. Yeah.
Right. The James Taylor. So I guess I want to listen to somebody that I can understand the words.
I don't disagree with you there. Now, the last one of these is I've seen you golf with TJ. Is that your favorite recreational activity, or do you have others?
Now you hit a sore spot.
Uh-oh.
It is a sore spot. Yeah, I played golf at this, but I was an excellent athlete in everything except golf.
Oh, okay.
So I think if I started at an earlier age, I would have done much better, but it didn't bother me that I didn't do well. It's just I'm saying, why not? I played tennis, won a lot of tournaments, and played soccer, played football, but I was very successful in that, but I'm never successful in golf. But what it did was golf taught me a lesson. It's humbling. It's humbling. As long as you can take it, it's good. You look at the good things that you do and the good shots, don't worry about the bad, and you're never going to be a scratch golfer or a little golf, and it shouldn't bother you.
There you go.
There are certain things that you're just not going to achieve.
Well, very quickly, what's your favorite sport then, if it's not golf?
My favorite sport now is football.
Football, okay.
But I don't play it. I like to watch it because I think on television it's wonderful watching.
Very good. Well, I would hope you're not playing at over 90. I won't give your age away, but over 90 there.
Well, not that. I'm not interested in getting injured. I never was, but I played when I was younger. I played soccer and football. And but it never bothered you. When you're young, you think nothing can hurt you. When you get older, you get smarter.
You're absolutely right. Well, thanks a lot for doing this interview, and we'll see you at Mega Success in December with TJ's group, right?
Great. Good talking with you. But you'll do very well. Just use what you have and sell your talent to somebody that could use it that doesn't have the talent. And they'll recognize it. You're a problem solver.
That is true. I like to solve problems. That is absolutely true. Well, thanks a lot.
You're welcome. Okay.
Well, all I can say after that interview is I hope I'm that sharp at 92 years old. George is a great guy. Looking forward to seeing him at Mega Success in early December at JT Foxx's Mega Success event. And also, I'm going to be sticking around for 3 days of in-person coaching, not only with George, but JT and a number of other very successful, wealthy people for a few days after that event. So we're going to have a lot of fun down there. We'll also, by the way, probably have some content on our YouTube and Instagram and other social media channels. So make sure you're subscribed to us there because during early December to mid-December, we'll be posting a lot of content from that. A-list celebrities, as well as I think we have 4 or 5 billionaires coming there, as well as just many, many high wealth and very successful people. So thanks again, George, for doing this, making the time, and look forward to seeing you in early December.